Hello and welcome to the newspaper review here on TAF TV. This is where we analyze and dissect trending and catchy headlines every day. My name is Obed Jerry, your host for today. And yes, you can also be a part of the show. Do well to subscribe, turn on your notification button, connect with us across all our social media platforms. We are the streets of Port Harcourt to get the reactions of people, what they have to say as regards the headlines making rounds on the papers. Well, before we go into that, let's look into the stories for today. Let's see what the headlines look like. First, we'll be looking at the Daily Sun newspaper. We could see as headline here reads IPOB bans protests in Southeast, mock organizers. Sub-story under that read transporters hike fares in Abia as petrol hits 1,000 naira per litre. Details of this story is found on page 27 and 25. You could see as headline on the main story here read 30 trillion naira ways and means loan. Federal government, Senate, pro-Buhari. Sub-story under that reads, Edu says investigation will determine whether to repay loans or not. Details of this story is found on page 6. Hardship protest splits Senate leadership. Sub-story under that read, they are sponsored, says Akpabio. No, demonstrations real, says Ndume. Details is found on page 27. High cost of cement. Federal government threatens to lift ban on importation. Details of this story is found on page 25. Terrorists kill 6, injure 10, raise houses in Katsina. Sub-story under that reads, NAF arrests notorious kidnapper in Kano. Details of this story is found on page 4, and that's a very sad one. ONSA, CBN join forces to crack down on FX speculators. Details is found on page 4. State Police reps OK bill for second reading. Sub-stories under that reads governors to appoint police chiefs. Details of this story is found on page 26. PDP Secretary Southeast NWC on collision costs. Details of this story is found on page 29. And that's all we'll be taken on the Daily Sun newspaper. And moving on, we'll be looking at the Punch newspaper. We could see as headline here reads, State Police, governors to appoint police commissioners, bill list conditions for CP's sacking. Sub-story under that reads, CPs can't be removed without PSC, Assembly's approval. Details is found on page 2. Oyebanje hails Punch solid journalistic excellence at 50. Details is found on page 7. You can see at the main story here reads, Senate to probe Buhari's government, Emefiele, over 30 trillion CBN loan. Sub-story under that reads, Senate links food security crisis to reckless ways and means loan under Buhari's cabinet. Another sub-story under that reads, panel to investigate CBN's 10 trillion naira anchor borrower scheme. $2.4 billion forex fraud. Others. Details of this story is found on page 7. Motorists lament poor drainage as flood submerges Lagos Road. We can see pictures of houses and vehicles and roads that are flooded by water. The Lagos government should please look into the situation and save people from this water and flood crisis. Details of this sad story is found on page 4 and 5. Federal government blames opposition for food crisis, uncovers 32 smuggling routes. Details is found on page 2. Police bust insurgents camp in Anambra, recover vehicles. Details is found on page 4 and 5. Federal government seeks 10 billion naira to stabilize exchange rate as naira tumbles. Details is found on page 17. And that's all we'll be taking on the Punch newspaper. And lastly, we'll be looking at the Nation's newspaper. We can see as headline here reads, Cross River government uncovers duplicate names on payroll. Details is found on page 6. Corruption, corruption, corruption. All right, still on the newspapers, we can see as headline reads, House of Rep pushes on with state police bill. Sub-story under that reads, lawmaker in hot debate. Details of this story is found on page 3. Tinubu directs payment of State House electricity bill. Details is found on page 3. We can see as headline here reads, truck owners begin petrol loading. Details is found on page 28. Just yesterday, we got a very, very terrible one seeing hike in transport and how petrol was scarce and the price of petrol just increased from 690 and 670 as people used to sell to around 850 to even some persons sold as high as 900 to 1,000 naira. Still on the newspapers, we could see as headline here reads, Anambra lawyer surrenders to police. Details is found on page 27. Southeast PDP rejects Anyanwu as national secretary. Sub-story under that reads, Mba orders tackle NWC over position. This is found on page 4. You can see at the main story here reads, Shetima, we will battle forces bent on subverting country. Sub-story under that reads, ONSA, CBN, NFIU go after saboteurs undermining Naira. CBN's 22.7 trillion overdraft to government for probe. Details of this story is found on page 4. 3. Edo APC aspirant petition NWC. Details is found on page 5. Abia government condemns butchers' protest. Details is found on page 6, and that's all we'll be taking on the newspapers. Now let's get to see the reactions and thoughts of people on the street. Let's get to see their reactions. Let's get to hear what they have to say as regards the headlines making rounds on the paper. Stay tuned. All right, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
I'd like your thoughts on Daily Sun that says hardship protests split Senate leadership.
Yes, it is not surprising to me that this kind of thing is happening in Nigeria. It's because of the hardship. Nigerians are angry about what is going on.
You know, a hungry man is an
angry man. So it is expected, because you can see, you go to the market today, you cannot buy anything. Even the food that we eat, we spend all our money in buying food. Even if you are a salary earner, you spend all in buying food. You cannot do any other thing. You cannot even build a house. You cannot do anything. So what is happening is not surprising to anybody. In fact, it has reached a breaking point. Right now, at the inflation level, it has reached a breaking point, which, if nothing is done, then we should expect anything. The windows are open that for anything to happen in this country. It can be yes, at any time.
It's even funny that up to now we've not even seen a serious rough protest and riot, because unlike 2011 during Jonathan's era, when he removed subsidy, many persons took out to the street to protest. Yes. Then, as at then, when petrol was around 100, I think 100 and 110. Yeah. But now the petrol has even reached 850.
Yes.
And we are not even protesting as we are supposed to.
Yeah, there is need for a massive protest. The essence of protest is just to show the government, let our voices here, let the government know about our grievances, that we are not happy about what is happening. The economy is not really helping anybody. You know, we expected that the change of government that happened recently will bring in or usher in a new era for Nigeria, especially the youth. Look at the youth are just wasted. People are just roaming about the streets, moving here and there, looking helpless. There's nothing for them to do. The protest is important, but let us not be violent about the protest. Exactly. We have to do it in a more organized manner. You know, that is how it is in other Western countries. You know, they use protest as a way of for government to hear about their grievance, about what is affecting them, and by so doing, the government now will not come in to tackle some of those problems. It's not to be violent, it's not to loot, it's not to carry guns and all that. It has to be peaceful. I'm even very supportive of protest, massive protest in all the states, so that government will hear. Because if we don't protest, it will look as though all is well or normal. Because government will continue moving the way they are moving when they have not seen any protest. If you go to...
feel like we are okay by
they feel like we are okay, we are not bothered about what is happening, and they will continue to, wherever they are not doing well, they will continue to do what they feel they think they are doing, that they are doing well for Nigerians. But in the real sense of they are not doing well for us. So in other countries, I see protests happening everywhere, and then government will listen to the plight of the citizens. That is what the essence of protest, and I think it's necessary.
But now, from your own point of view, seeing how the economy is and how drastic things are getting worse in the country, do you think there's hope for Nigeria at the recent times?
Yes, there is still hope, because a living person cannot lose hope in life. As long as we are all alive, Nigerians, we are all alive, there is still hope for us. It is not God that will come down from heaven to begin to change. It is we Nigerians, our leaders, that will come and right the wrongs. That's the reason why we elected them, for them to begin to do those things that the citizens need, so that the country will be a better place for us. Nigerians are moving out to other, trooping out of the country to other countries just because of what is happening here. It's not supposed to be like that. We have what we call this brain drain syndrome right now. Exactly. The lawyers, the doctors, and all of them moving out to country because they feel their home country have not provided what they really need to remain proud as citizens of this country. So that's the problem.
And now, almost every issue in this country now is boiling down to the removal of subsidy.
Yeah, subsidy, I don't even understand what is surrounding this subsidy thing. Today we hear that they have removed, sometime many years ago we heard that they removed subsidy, sometimes again we heard that they did not remove subsidy. Now they are still talking about, now when the Tinubu came in, we just made, in the first broadcast he made to Nigerians, he said that subsidy is gone. Now people are still talking about subsidy again. What what is all about this subsidy? Is it now? Will I begin to look at subsidy in the area of, is it? Will I call it a scam? Or are they using it just to political reason, or using our political reasons to play on Nigerians? That is what I cannot understand. So subsidy is nothing, because subsidy, if you look at the way things are, you say you remove subsidy and then Nigerians are hungry. The
transport fare has
skyrocketed. Everything there's nothing you can buy in this market now. We are already, you know that we are in the market here, and then there's nothing you can buy here now that is cheap. Just go and try anything. So it has gotten to that point of breaking point. I know there's a country suffered this in the past, and then I don't know what they did in their own economy. Countries like Brazil, yes, things later turned out. I don't know what their government did. Sometimes in Brazil, it got to a point when you get to a shop to buy one particular thing in Brazil in the morning, you bought it at a certain price rate, and then you go to that same shop in the afternoon, you change it. You go to that same shop in the evening, it changes. That means, but right now, the whole of those things have become history in that country. So I think Nigerians should, look inwards and then begin to look at the areas we are failing. Now, I want to point out one thing. Petroleum is a life wire of this economy.
Exactly, especially
petroleum.
Have steady electricity.
Now, our refineries are not working for this number of years. Nothing has been done to the refineries. Why is it that the government cannot fix our refinery so that we can have domestic production of petroleum? If we are refining petroleum in Nigeria, it will now go a long way for us to have domestic consumption. Because anything that affects petroleum or fuel will definitely affect every other thing in the market. Look at cement again. Why I'm talking about petroleum and cement, because that is the key problem we're having. Look at cement that people use to build house. They say only one individual is producing cement in Nigeria. It is not like that. There's no way, there's no economy that thrives in monopoly. You kill the market of others just to remain as and being the only producer of that economy. Something is wrong with that economy. There's nowhere in the world that economy can thrive well. We'll continue to have price increase in cement, because it is just coming from one source. One person is fixing the price. That is monopoly. If you go and read about monopoly, you know what I'm talking about. That is the problem we're having. They should give other players a chance to produce cement so that the price will drop. That is what is needed. Anything outside that, whatever they think they are doing, Nigeria will never be stable.
And now we could see that they are threatening that they want to open border for importation of cement if the price of cement, our local cement here, the price doesn't go down.
Well, that is not a problem. Even if they open the border, we'll still be importing if we import cement. But what is important is for how to encourage many players in the cement production. It's not just one person. Yes, right now we have it on Dangote. Yes, so many people have. When you have this competition, this person produces, all those people that we have Nigerians that have money that can invest in that area, so that people can produce cement for us to buy. Because our young teeming populations, they are growing. They need to build their own houses. They need to have their wife. They need to have their own family. They must build their houses. And if you continue to increase the price of cement as it is right now, my brother, it is very, very difficult for these youth coming up ones, those of them that don't have houses, to have their own houses. In fact, the future is very, very bleak for them. That is just the true position of them. Let me just tell you the truth. That's just the truth of position of things.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hello. Good morning.
Yeah, morning.
Now, I'd like your thoughts on the Sun newspaper that says high cost of cement. Federal government threatens to lift ban on importation.
Actually, me, I'm not too like a boy. At least I want the price of cement to be down, as everybody can build. How can the price of cement is 12,000, 15,000? It's not fair.
It's making life harder for us.
Yeah, exactly. I don't like it. We have let us at least repair our refinery. If fuel, maybe we can get a fuel, maybe a liter per 100. Everything is going to come, even 300. Everything is going to at least be normal. So please, I'm begging the president, the federal government, they should bring everything. It's okay.
But there's a lower chance of the fuel price to go down at this moment, especially when the refinery is not working. And these refineries too need money to run, and Nigeria is running into huge debt. So is it advisable that they go and borrow loan to make the
it's not advisable. It's not advisable to borrow loan, because we are borrowing. We don't see anything. So it's not fair.
Now, from another angle, now, do you think Nigeria, there is hope for Nigeria in this recent?
Yeah, there's hope. Now, if we come down together, we reason as a human being, there's hope.
The issue now is, do you think it's coming from the government or from the people?
It's going to be government.
From the government.
Yes,
Why do you think so?
Because that is the head.
They're the ones controlling.
Yes, control the affairs.
And they are the ones that know what to do to make the country a better place. Yeah. Now, what's your take on him removing Tinubu removing subsidy without even having a plan that will save us from this?
I can't say anything for that. I can't say anything for that.
All right, thank you very much. All right, you've seen and heard what has been discussed here. If you have a counter opinion, please slide to our comment section and drop your comments there. Do well to subscribe, turn on the notification button, connect also with us on all our social media platforms so that you get to receiving our notifications in different social media platforms easily. My name is Obed Jerry, your host for today, and this has been the newspaper review here on TAF TV. See you next time.